A Passage to India by E M Forster. Part 1. The Mosque. Except for the Marabar Caves, and they are 20 miles off, the city of Chandrapore presents nothing extraordinary. Edged rather than washed by the river Ganges, its trails for a couple of miles along the bank, scarcely distinguishable from the rubbish it deposits so freely. There are no bathing steps on the riverfront, as the Ganges happens not to be holy here. Indeed, there is no riverfront, and bazaars shut out the wide and shifting panorama of the stream. The streets are mean, the temples ineffective, and though a few fine houses exist, they are hidden away in gardens or down alleys whose filth deters all but the invited guest. Chandrapore was never large or beautiful, but 200 years ago it lay on the road between Upper India, then Imperial, and the sea, and the fine houses date from that period. The zest for decoration stopped in the 18th century, nor was it ever democratic. There is no painting and scarcely any carving in the bazaars. The very wood seems made of mud, the inhabitants of mud moving. So abased, so monotonous is everything that meets the eye, that when the Ganges comes down, it might be expected to wash the excrescence back into the soil. Houses do fall, people are drowned and left rotting, but the general outline of the town persists, swelling here, shrinking there, like some low but indestructible form of life. Inland, the prospect alters. There is an oval maiden and a long, sallow hospital. Houses belonging to Eurasians stand on the high ground by the railway station. Beyond the railway, which runs parallel to the river, the land sinks, then rises again rather steeply. On the second rise is laid out the little civil station, and viewed hence, Chandrapore appears to be a totally different place. It is a city of gardens. It is no city, but a forest sparsely scattered with huts. It is a tropical pleasance, washed by a noble river. The toddy palms and neem trees and mangoes and pipal that were hidden behind the bazaars now become visible, and in their turn hide the bazaars. They rise from the gardens where ancient tanks nourish them. They burst out of stifling purlieus and unconsidered temples. Seeking light and air and endowed with more strength than man or his works, they soar above the lower deposit to greet one another with branches and beckoning leaves and to build a city for the birds. Especially after the rains do they screen what passes below, but at all times, even when scorched or leafless, they glorify the city to the English people who inhabit the rise, so that newcomers cannot believe it to be as meager as it is described, and have to be driven down to acquire disillusionment. As for the civil station itself, it provokes no emotion. It charms not, neither does it repel. It is sensibly planned with a red brick club on its brow, and farther back a grocer's and a cemetery, and the bungalows are deposited along the roads that intersect at right angles. It has nothing hideous in it, and only the view is beautiful. It shares nothing with the city except the overarching sky. The sky, too, has its changes, but they are less marked than those of the vegetation and the river. Clouds map it up at times, but it is normally a dome of blending tints in the main tint blue. By the day, the blue will pale down into white where it touches the white of the land. After sunset, it has a new circumference, orange melting upwards into tenderest purple. But the core of the blue persists, and so it is by night. Then the stars hang like lamps from the immense vault. The distance between the vault and them is nothing to the distance behind them, and that farther distance, though beyond color, last freed itself from blue. The sky settles everything, not only climates and seasons, but when the earth shall be beautiful. But herself she can do little, only feeble outbursts of flowers. But when the sky chooses, glory can rain into the Chandrapore bazaars, or a benediction passed from horizon to horizon. The sky can do this because it is so strong and so enormous. Strength comes from the sun, infused in it daily, size from the prostrate earth. No mountains infringe on the curve. League after league, the earth lies flat, heaves a little, is flat again. Only in the south, where a group of fists and fingers are thrust up through the soil, is the endless expanse interrupted. These fists and fingers are the Malabar Hills, containing the extraordinary caves. Chapter 2. Abandoning his bicycle, which fell before a servant could catch it, the young man sprang up to the veranda. He was all animation. "Hemadula, Hemadula, am I late?" he cried. "Do not apologize," said his host. "You are always late." "Kindly answer my question. Am I late? Has Muhammad Ali eaten all the food? If so, I go elsewhere. Mr. Muhammad Ali, how are you?" "Thank you, Dr. Aziz. I am dying." "Dying before your dinner? Oh, poor Muhammad Ali." "Hamadullah here is actually dead. He passed away just as you rode up on your bike." "Yes, that is so," said the other. "Imagine us both as addressing you from another and a happier world." "Does there happen to be such a thing as a hookah in that happier world of yours?" "Aziz, don't chatter. We are having a very sad talk." The hookah had been packed too tight, as usual, in his friend's house, and bubbled sulkily. He coaxed it. Yielding at last, the tobacco jetted up into his lungs and nostrils, driving out the smoke of burning cow dung that had filled them as he rode through the bazaar. It was delicious. He lay in a trance, sensuous but healthy, through which the talk of the two others did not seem particularly sad. They were discussing as to whether or no it is possible to be friends with an Englishman. Mahmoud Ali argued that it was not. Hamadullah disagreed, but with so many reservations that there was no friction between them. Delicious indeed to lie on the broad veranda with the moon rising in front and the servants preparing dinner behind, and no trouble happening. "Well, look at my own experience this morning." "I only contend that it is possible in England," replied Hamdullah, who had been to that country long ago before the big rush, and had received a cordial welcome at Cambridge. "It is impossible here. Aziz, the red-nosed boy, has again insulted me in court. I do not blame him. He was told that he ought to insult me. Until lately, he was quite a nice boy, but the others have got hold of him." "Yes, they have no chance here. That is my point. They come out intending to be gentlemen and are told it will not do. Look at Leslie. Look at Blakeston. Now it is your red-nosed boy, and Fielding will go next. Why, I remember when Turton came out first. He was in another part of the province. You fellows will not believe me, but I have driven with Turton in his carriage. Turton! Oh, yes, we were once quite intimate. He has shown me his stamp collection. He would expect you to steal it now, Turton. But Red-Nosed Boy will be far worse than Turton." "I do not think so. They all become exactly the same, not worse, not better. I give any Englishman 2 years, be he Turton or Burton. It is only the difference of a letter, and I give any Englishwoman 6 months. All are exactly alike. Do you not agree with me?" "I do not," replied Mahmoud Ali, entering into bitter fun and feeling both pain and amusement at each word that was uttered. "For my own part, I find such profound differences among our rulers. Red-Nose mumbles. Turton talks distinctly. Mrs. Turton takes bribes. Mrs. Red-Nose does not and cannot, because so far there is no Mrs. Red-Nose." "Bribes? Did you not know that when they were lent to Central India over a canal scheme, some Raj or other gave her a sewing machine in solid gold, so that the water should run through his state?" And does it? No, that is where Mrs. Turton is so skillful. When we poor blacks take bribes, we perform what we are bribed to perform, and the law discovers us in consequence. The English take and do nothing. I admire them. We all admire them. Aziz, please pass me the hookah. Oh, not yet. Hookah is so jolly now. You are a very selfish boy. He raised his voice suddenly and shouted for dinner. Servants shouted back that it was ready. They meant that they wished it was ready, and were so understood, for nobody moved. Then Hamadullah continued, but with changed manner and evident emotion. But take my case, the case of young Hugh Bannister. Here is the son of my dead friends, the Reverend and Mrs. Bannister, whose goodness to me in England I shall never forget or describe. They were father and mother to me. I talk to them as I do now. In the vacations, their rectory became my home. They entrusted all their children to me. I often carried little Hugh about. I took him up to the funeral of Queen Victoria and held him in my arms above the crowd. Queen Victoria was different, murmured Mahmoud Ali. I learn now that this boy is in business as a leather merchant at Cawnpore. Imagine how I long to see him and to pay his fare that this house may be his home. But it is useless. The other Anglo-Indians will have got hold of him long ago. He will probably think that I want something, and I can't face that from the son of my old friend. Oh, what in this country has gone wrong with everything, Vikal Sahib? I ask you. Aziz joined in. Why talk about the English? Brr! Why be either friends with the fellows or not friends? Let us shut them out and be jolly. Queen Victoria and Mrs. Bannister were the only exceptions, and they're dead. No, no, I do not admit that. I have met others. So have I, said Mahmoud Ali, unexpectedly veering. All ladies are far from alike. Their mood has changed, and they recalled little kindnesses and courtesies. She said, "Thank you so much," in the most natural way. She offered me a lozenge when the dust irritated my throat. Hamdullah could remember more important examples of angelic ministrations, but the other, who only knew Anglo-India, had to ransack his memory for scraps, and it was not surprising that he should return to, "But of course all this is exceptional." The exception does not prove the rule. The average woman is like Mrs. Turton, and Aziz, you know what she is. Aziz did not know, but said he did. He too generalized from his disappointments. It is difficult for members of a subject race to do otherwise. Granted the exceptions, he agreed that all English women are haughty and venal. The gleam passed from the conversation, whose wintry surface unrolled and expanded interminably. And we'll pause here and we'll continue with chapter 2 in the next video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. As Tigger says, ta-ta for now.